Have you recently undergone or are currently undergoing medical care? Medical care for such things as a CT scan, a physical exam, having a child, cancer treatments, heart treatments, physical therapy, or any other ongoing types of treatments? Have you ever received a medical bill that was just more than you expected? Have you ever received a medical bill that you just did not understand? If so, you are going to want to pay attention to this video. You probably didn't know this, but 8 out of 10 medical bills contain errors. That a majority of bankruptcies in America are due to medical debt. That 10 million insured Americans cannot afford to pay their medical bills each year. There is a crisis in America, but you don't have to be a part of it. Hi, I'm David Dubé, co-founder of CutMedicalBills.com. Let me share with you our story and why we believe you don't need to go anywhere else to get your medical bills under control today. You see, at an event in April 2014, I met this guy, David Holt. In the 5 short minutes we chatted, all we had exchanged about each other was that I was a business consultant and he was an attorney. Truly, we spent most of that 5 minutes just shooting the breeze. I knew he was a great guy, but not how great until much later. You see, on July 7, 2014, my mother was diagnosed with endometrial cancer for the second time. With a large tumor growing around her femoral artery and pushing against her kidney, we needed to meet with a vascular surgeon before any decisions could be made. And 5 weeks later, we finally had the chance to meet with that vascular surgeon. After looking at my mother's scans, the doctor was uncertain if the surgery was something worth undergoing. He asked for time to discuss with my mother's oncologist before deciding to schedule any kind of surgery. A day later, my phone rang. It was the vascular surgeon. He told me he was willing to go ahead with the surgery, but that nothing was guaranteed, and because of the location of the tumor and the great possibility of blood loss for the surgery, we should get all of my mother's things in order. Next morning, I immediately reached out to all the attorneys I had made connections with over the past several years. One in particular got back to me promptly, David Holt, and he came through with flying colors. He was able to complete my mother's healthcare directive and will within an extremely short time frame before her surgery. I then took my mother to the hospital for her surgery with many mixed emotions. Saying goodbye to her before surgery was extremely tough, and it would be 7.5 hours before we would find out anything. Finally, the doctors had emerged from her surgery to meet with my uncle, my brother, and myself, and you could see it on their faces. They were glowing. Her surgery was a success. The doctors felt they had removed 99% of the tumor, and we'd be able to visit her in recovery soon. To finish her treatment, all she would require was some radiation. On her road to recovery, I decided to meet back with David Holt. I owed him a huge thank you, and I wanted to find out what he actually did in his law practice. David shared with me that he was working with a small base of clients that were actually drowning in massive amounts of medical bills. One of them was Eunice. She had undergone cancer treatment and even with insurance racked up over $110,000 in medical bills. Her and her husband Bob were looking at selling their home in order to pay their medical bills, even possibly filing for bankruptcy. That, of course, was until she met David Holt. He successfully negotiated Eunice's medical bills down by more than 60%. Saving her and her family from financial ruin. I thought what he did was incredible, so I asked him, how does it all work? He tells me a typical attorney could charge over $200 an hour. Then there are medical billing advocates. They usually charge a percentage of the total amount saved, with an average being 30%. Let me give you an example of how this works. So you have a medical bill, let's say $10,000. You reach out to a medical billing advocate, submit your bill, and a week later they come back to you with a massive savings of 75%. That means of the $10,000 you owe, you only have to pay your provider $2,500. Huge savings, right? Well, now if you look at the $7,500 in total savings, you now owe 30% of that to the medical billing advocate, which means you'll need to pay them $2,225. So you really only saved 53%. It's not to say that 53% is not a lot, but to pay nearly 1/3 of how much you just saved, that is a lot. Let me show you what this just looks like. So your original debt was $10,000. The savings was $7,500. Your new payment to the provider is $2,500. But your service fee is $2,225. So you actually owe $4,725. And that's just for one medical bill. See, how many medical bills will you have in your lifetime? Here at Cut Medical Bills, we've cut out the attorney and the billing advocate. We've taken the same system they've been using for years to negotiate medical bills down for their clients and perfected it to create CutMedicalBills.com. See, we want to empower you. We believe in you and your ability to manage your own life, your own finances, and your own future. In this complete, comprehensive online video training course, David Holt shows you step by step how to negotiate your medical bills down virtually overnight, and so much more. In our course, you will learn how to read and understand your medical bills, how to spot errors on your bills and get them corrected, how to organize yourself in preparation for the negotiations, what to say when negotiating, how to be confident and stay confident throughout the entire process, how to appeal a denied claim, how to get a copy of your medical records, and so much more. Plus the bonuses, how to price shop your health care, the power in pre-care negotiations, how to use crowdfunding for your medical bills, how to get your medical bills 100% written off. Now, we didn't just create this amazing training and figured we'd send you off to the races all alone. David and I created a private Facebook group that is only for those who purchase and use our product. Here you will be able to connect with David Holt and myself, as well as many others going through similar situations as you. This will become an invaluable resource for you. So, what would all this be worth to you, knowing that you could cut your medical bills by up to 75% or even more? And to know that you have the support system in place to help you through the entire process? Obviously, we're not going to charge you $2,225. Even though $500 would be worth it, we're not going to charge you that. $300, not even. $200, no. For just $97, you can put this system to work for you now. It's time you take your financial destiny into your own hands. Click the button below and start negotiating your medical bills down now. Now, don't just do this for yourself, but for your family and those you care about most. Buy it once and have access to it for a lifetime. You see, you only have about 90 to 120 days before your medical bills go into collections. For the best results in negotiations, you do not want to wait until your bill gets to collections. Stop hesitating and start negotiating now. Click the button below and we'll see you on the other side. To follow up on my mother, well, she's well on her way to fully recovering after her radiation treatments. Since creating Cut Medical Bills with David Holt, I've been using this very same system to help my mother negotiate her medical bills down. Right now, we are currently working with her provider to see if we can get all her bills from last year 100% written off. In our system, we actually show you how to do the very same thing. And it's a lot easier than you think it is. Sure, it's scary at first, but I promise you it gets easier when you just remember they're human too. So stop procrastinating and get started today. Click the button below and I'll see you on the other side.